All right, I hope you can all hear me. Again, my name is Julia Degraw. I'm running for Portland City Council Position 2. I ran for this seat 2 years ago, so it might sound a little bit familiar to some of you. I really appreciate that this event has been organized. At first, when I got the email, I got a little sense of dread of like, oh my gosh, this is a whole new issue area that I hadn't thought about as like a totally standalone issue area, right? And then as I read your backgrounder and did some research, I realized that this is something that I personally really deeply resonate with and relate to, and I'm really eager to work with Portland's independent music communities to make sure they're getting the support and the holistic policy making programmatic decisions and supports from the public sector that have been missing for decades. And I'm frankly shocked, having grown up in this area and spent my 20s going to shows all over Portland and really enjoying that there was always something at a price point that I could afford down to free, that it hasn't been supported by the city more. It was a totally eye-opening experience for me to realize that that's something that's been lacking for so long. In terms of my personal experience with music, I grew up playing the piano. My brother played the violin, and I decided, I guess, for some reason at a very young age that I wanted to play an instrument that wasn't mobile, which I frankly regret. My brother can carry his violin wherever he goes. Like, I should pick guitar, but anyway. I played piano all the way through college. I sang in choirs all the way to adulthood. I actually really enjoy the fact that it just shifts your brain into a totally different space. You can't think about work. You can't think about stuff you're stressed out about when you're singing. You're just trying to blend your voice with everyone else's voice, and it just transports you into like a very present, in the moment place. And I really love that about music and about actually creating it and participating in it in that way. My brother is a DJ. He's really into electronica. My cousin does that as well. They do it for fun. They used to do a college radio show back when they were in school. And I have a lot of friends who are in bands, and I really, and they run the gamut from folks who try to scrape together an actual living making music, which is a huge struggle, to folks who like have really good day jobs and play highly professional music at venues across the city. And something that always blows my mind about musicians is I spent my entire career as an organizer in the nonprofit sector. One of the major campaigns that I worked on was a campaign to keep a Nestle water bottling facility out of the Columbia River Gorge. And a bunch of bands came to me, like bands would come to me and say, hey, we wrote this song to support your effort, and we really want to like do a fundraiser event for this campaign. And Mississippi Studios hosted a fundraising event with Cedra Willie, this amazing bluegrass band, to help raise funds for our campaign. And they wrote an original song where they rewrote the lyrics to Roll on Columbia, to a protest song to protect the gorge. And I was just amazed at that level of generosity, because those were professional musicians who were like making a living on their music, giving something to us at a, we split the door, but still they did not make the amount of money they would have made had they not been generous and donating to a cause. So the music community has given so much to our city. And the fact that all the money being made in the local community, the music community is largely staying local, is huge as well. I don't want to see, the demise of this industry lead to private or more corporate, replacements, and this is true of the small business community in Portland as well. We're defined by our local music. We're defined by our small local businesses. And we have to make sure as we go through this crisis and begin to recover from it, that we're doing everything we can to support them, which is why I definitely support staffing and creating an office that's solely for supporting this community, getting to prevailing wages. $22 an hour is really what a living wage is in Portland at this point. That needs to be what we talk about when we talk about a living wage. $15 an hour isn't going to cut it these days. I'm really glad to see that you've gotten organized, that you have data now. We can't make good decisions without data. I'm a huge fan of data-driven decision making. So I really appreciate that, that right now at this moment, it seems like that all parties can be poised to move forward with a renewed commitment to work together and making sure that our local music ecology is better supported throughout this crisis and as we recover, because as much as this crisis is indeed a crisis, it's also an opportunity to dramatically change how we currently support people and then maintain those changes in how we support people moving forward, right? We should have been supporting the local music industry long before this crisis, but if this crisis is the impetus to create those structures and to create the place where we can have these conversations and create these public-private partnerships, then let's take advantage of that and build this into the structure of our city moving forward. When I ran in 2018, I ran on a system change platform. Part of the reason why we had to change our system is because it is impossible to navigate the city's permitting process for building a house, for opening a business, for music venues, apparently, right? Like there's not a single thing that is streamlined and easy in the existing system that we have. So I'm deeply committed to system change and creating more one-stop shop locations for people who want to build affordable housing, for people who want to participate in our music culture, and for people who want to participate in the different, in opening small business. We need to streamline all these permitting processes in order to make them accessible to the small local businesses and artists and venue owners who make Portland, Portland. And I think I might be at time. I don't know. Did I?
You're right at it. You're right.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. But yeah, okay. I really look forward to partnering with the music community in the city of Portland to do better moving forward.
Okay. All right. So question specifically for you. Portland's rapid growth and residential infill strategy has already displaced or continued to threaten music businesses and venues. Would you be supportive of enacting an agent of change principles into city building codes, which would require developers to pay for mitigation protect pre-existing music venues?
Yes, I recently did a questionnaire, and I promise I'm going to connect these things. They're going to seem disproportionate, but they make sense.
Okay.
I just recently did a questionnaire where we were talking about the tree code in Portland, where developers and industry need to take into account the tree and the green infrastructure within our city as though it's as valuable as built infrastructure, because it is. Trees create habitat, they clean the air, they make neighborhoods more livable. We absolutely should be approaching music venues with the same level of if not more, frankly, we need to improve our tree protections, but we need to be supporting protection of our existing music venues in very much the same way. Quality of life in the city of Portland has been defined by our independent music scene. And obviously we're growing and we're not going to stop growing. We have to define how we do it though. And we can do both things. We can grow, we can build more densely, and we can protect our local music venues. We can do all of that at the same time, but it requires making these policies that will, at the very least, if a venue is going to be lost, we need to be made whole there. They need to make a new venue as they do new construction, right? There needs to be, at the very least, mitigation, but preferential, the preference should be to find ways to protect the existing venues. So I'm absolutely committed to creating that kind of policy. And again, I'm frankly disappointed. I can't say surprised, but disappointed that it hasn't been created yet.